بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we near the end of Ramadan, we find ourselves asking, how are we going to maintain these good habits we've established after the month of Ramadan? How can we make sure that these changes will be permanent? And how can we maintain the spiritual high? Now, while there are several small amal, habits, personal goals that we should set for ourselves, I'm here to share what I think is the driving force, the thing that will hopefully keep us motivated to continue these personal habits of ours, and that is to recognize the benefits of simply calling out to Allah. So I'd like to share a few ayat that highlight the benefits and the importance of calling out to Allah. And inshallah, this can serve as kind of a backbone for our personal goals and remind us who it is that we're calling out to. So if we look at Surah Al-Dhariyat, ayah 56, Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ مَا يُرِيدُ مِنْهُم مِّن رِزْقٍ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَن يُطْعِمُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الرَّزَّاقُ ذُو الْقُوَّةِ الْمَتِينِ. So Allah says, I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me. I do not want from them any provision, nor do I want them to feed me. Indeed, it is Allah who is the provider, the firm possessor of strength. Now, I thought this ayah was particularly profound because, sometimes we have this idea that remembrance of Allah, calling out to Allah, prayer in general, feels like a burden. It feels like something that's inconvenient, something that we have to sometimes sacrifice our dunya, in order to make Allah happy or fulfill these demands that He's required of us. When really, and we feel that we're sacrificing our dunya in order to fulfill the prayers that Allah has commanded of us. But Allah here is telling us that He doesn't need those things. He doesn't need, this dunya that we feel we're sacrificing for Him. Whether that's time from our work, from our school, or even our sleep. Allah doesn't benefit anything from us worshiping Him, and He doesn't need anything from us. We are the ones who benefit from calling out to Him. And Allah here is telling us that we are required to pray because Inna Allaha huwa razzaq, because Allah wants to give us. So really, calling out to Allah, the remembrance of Allah, isn't meant to be something that's inconvenient, isn't meant to be something that we sacrifice for. Allah is giving us this requirement as a gift, as an opportunity for us to call out to Him, to ask Him what we want so that He can give us. How are we going to get the things we want and need without asking Allah? We can't. So Allah here is telling us to call out to Him, to remember Him, and that the purpose of these requirements in prayer and remembrance and calling out to Allah is to give us. So inshallah, by recognizing that, we recognize that Allah here wants us to call out to Him so that He can bless us. Now, another way to recognize how important and beneficial calling out to Allah is to understand how Allah responds to those who call Him. So if we look at Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 186, Allah says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So Allah says, and when my servants ask you about me, I am near. I answer the call of the caller whenever he calls on me. So let them respond to me and have faith in me so that they may be guided. So there are a few powerful features of this ayah that I want to talk about. And first is the use of the word whenever. So Allah says, I answer the call of the caller whenever he calls on me. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. So Allah here is saying whenever the caller wants to call on me, He will respond. So Allah here is telling us that He's basically waiting for us to call out to Him, right? How magnificent and great Allah is and how insignificant we are in comparison. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one waiting for us to call out to Him. Also, another beautiful part of this ayah is that Allah doesn't say astajibu. He says ujibu. You know, astajibu means I will respond over time. But no, Allah says ujibu da'wat ad-da'i, meaning He will respond immediately. Allah will respond immediately. Ujibu da'wat ad-da'i. Now also, Allah here, a very subtle, powerful meaning of this ayah is Allah saying He responds to ad-da'i. Ujibu da'wat al-da'i. Ad-da'i meaning the caller, right? So Allah basically here is saying that we are not just a caller or any caller, we are the caller. You know, how powerful and how special is this use of ad-da'i to identify each one of us personally. So like when somebody says, for example, a person helped me, that's great. A person could be anybody. But here, if I said that this person helped me, the person helped me, that person helped me, there's a soul, there's a person behind that word of the, and there's more substance to it. And the same meaning goes here, that Allah is personalizing and recognizing that we are not just any anonymous caller, He's referring to us as the caller. And also, Allah uses the word, again, we're sticking with ujibu da'wat ad-da'i, the word da'wah, right? So He doesn't say du'a, which is like a regular calling out to Allah. He says ujibu da'wat, meaning one time calling out to Allah. And this is so powerful because, sometimes we feel that, if we're not in the right stage in life or, we feel kind of off, we feel guilty. How is Allah going to respond to me if I'm doing this or if I'm not how is Allah going to respond to me if I'm not as consistent in this or that? But Allah is saying, just call out to me one time. One time, and He will not only answer, but immediately answer. To who? To the caller. So, Allah is giving us hope here no matter where we are in life. And finally, Allah is saying that He will respond to the caller, okay? So, who is a caller? A caller can be absolutely anybody, right? Allah does not say He will respond to the righteous caller, to the rich caller, to the knowledgeable caller. No, Allah uses this broad term of caller to make sure that each and every single one of us can fall under that term. And this is so beautiful because there's this element of specificity. We talked about how Allah personally recognizing us by saying ad-da'i, but at the same time, in the same word, ujibu da'wat ad-da'i, the caller, there's such a broad meaning to what da'i means, and that any one of us can be a caller. So inshallah, by recognizing that there's rewards and blessings associated with calling out to Allah, and that it's not a burden and rather a gift for us, and by understanding how Allah responds to those who call out to Him, that any one of us can call out to Allah at any point in time because He is waiting for us, and that He will immediately respond to us. We can inshallah stay motivated and consistent in calling out to Allah because truly, truly, we are the ones who benefit the most. Jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.